Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck Tech. So as you know, Monday means it's Modern Monday here in Instant Deck Tech land, and today we have a super sweet Planeswalker heavy tokens list to check out today. This is Abzan tokens. Comes to us from Katu Kazumasa, who took it to a top 8 finish at a small Japanese tournament. So congrats to Katu on a super sweet deck. A quick reminder before we break down Abzan tokens for Modern. If you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So Abzan Tokens is built around some interesting and super powerful token makers. So Lingering Souls, kind of the most well-known token producer in Modern. The end result is, for 5 mana, potentially split across 2 different turns, thanks to casting it and then flashing it back, you get a total of 4 1/1 Flying Spirit tokens, which is really powerful. Bitter Blossom was so strong it was banned in Modern for a long time, been back in the format for a while, hasn't really become a tier 1 card, but it gives you a 1/1 flyer every single turn for the cost of 1 life, just for free once you get it on the battlefield. And then the newest addition to the pantheon of powerful token makers is Legion's Landing, which comes down, gives us a 1/1 token when it enters the battlefield, and then, once we attack with 3 creatures, like a couple of Bitter Blossom tokens, couple of Lingering Souls tokens, flips around into a land that gives us a steady stream of 1/1 tokens for just 3 mana each turn. So, very powerful when the game goes long. The lifelink helps us stay in the game against decks like Burn and whatnot. So these are our primary token producers. We also have Voice of Resurgence, which kind of does a couple of things for the deck. It is a token producer. It dies, it gets a token with power and toughness equal to the number of creatures we control. We make a lot of creatures with Lingering Souls, with Bitter Blossoms, with Legion's Landing, with some other cards we'll talk about in a minute. So this is going to be a really big elemental token. Also helps us fight against instant speed decks, counterspell decks in specific, because if our opponent casts a spell on our turn, we get one of those elemental tokens. So it basically just locks counterspells out of the game. It's just too painful for our opponent to counter one of our things and give us that elemental token, because the elemental token's probably going to be better than whatever they're countering. So very strong 2-drop in our deck, both for the control matchup and just because it turns into a big token. Probably the key cards of the deck are the Planeswalkers. So these cards are really awesome for this deck because they each do 2 things we really want. Every single one of these Planeswalkers can make tokens, but they can also pump all of our creatures. So they're making our Lingering Souls tokens, our Bitter Blossom tokens, our Legion Landing tokens, our Voice of Resurgence tokens more powerful as well. So Sorin Solemn Visitor gives us ability to +1 to make all of our tokens 1 more power, plus give them lifelink, which is a huge chunk of life gain. With just a Lingering Souls, we're gaining 8 life in that attack, which is a massive swing against any aggro deck, against any burn deck, so very powerful there. The -2 also can make a Flying Vampire token, a 2/2. Sorin Lord of Innistrad can negative to make an emblem that permanently gives our creatures +0/+1, plus it can plus to make a 1/1 vampire with lifelink. And then Gideon Allied Zendikar can come down as a 4-mana anthem, just immediately ultimate, give all of our stuff +1/+1 forever, or it can make a steady stream of 2/2 night tokens. It can even go attacking if we need it to. So these are kind of the most important cards of the deck because they give so much flexibility and do 2 things that are really strong in the build. As far as pumping our small tokens, one of the downsides of our spirits and our Bitter Blossom tokens, Legion Landing tokens, they're all really small, but along with our Planeswalkers, we have a couple of other ways to make them into big threats. Intangible Virtue is an insanely strong anthem in a token deck because not only does it give all of our tokens +1/+1, also gives them Vigilance, which lets us swing with all of our Lingering Souls tokens, Bitter Blossom tokens, etc, and still have those creatures back on defense if we need to chump block a huge Death Shadow or something like that. Grafted Warrior just a 1-of, but it can make one of our tokens really big. It basically turns one of our 1/1 spirits into a 4/3 flyer, which is a really fast clock. It equips for for free, which is super strong. So we can just play it, immediately equip it. If it ever becomes unattached from a creature, we gotta sacrifice that creature. And while that sounds like a downside, it can actually be an upside in our deck with Voice of Resurgence. It's a way we can sacrifice our own Voice of Resurgence to get that huge elemental token and beat our opponent down with it. As far as the rest of the deck, Birds of Paradise comes down on turn 1, just helps us accelerate into our expensive Planeswalkers, lets us play Lingering Souls on turn 2, Grafted War Gear, etc. So very strong as far as just getting to our more powerful plays. Inquisition to disrupt our opponent, pick apart their hand a little bit, and then for removal, 4 Path to Exiles, 2 Abrupt Decays. So a pretty strong removal suite, including Abrupt Decay, which is really nice because it gets ensnaring bridges and other stuff that straight white-black removal doesn't normally hit. As far as the mana base, Shambling Vent gives us a creature land, Field of Ruin is our Ghost Quarter. Then we got a fairly typical fetch land for shock land, some basic land mana base. In the sideboard, we get a ton of the good white sideboard cards. Rest in Peace to help against graveyard decks, Stony Silence for Affinity and Tron, Rule of Law for Storm, Thoughtseize and Stain the Mind give us some more all-purpose hate. Stain the Mind really sweet in our deck because we can use our tokens to convoke it and then cast like a 1 mana copy of like a Lost Legacy, essentially. Cranial Extraction was the original. Get rid of all the Scape Shifts or Primeval Titans or Ad Nauseams, whatever combo piece our opponent has to ruin our plans. Thoughtseize just picks apart our opponent's hand even more. Mind Sensor to help against tutoring decks, also punish fetch lands. Beast Within gives us an all-purpose removal spell that can also blow up Tron lands. And then Rootborn Defenses protects our creatures, awesome when it's proliferating like a huge elemental from Voice of Resurgence, very strong in our deck. And that is Abzan tokens for Modern. And that's our instant deck tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.